What's up, Madden 17 fans? My name is Cody and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the concepts and different things that I saw in the latest Madden Championship. I'm also going to talk about some things that I think is really helpful and useful to you guys as we go forward. I'm just playing a standard salary cap game here. And what I really want to do is I'm doing a couple of new things that I wanted to show you as well on offense and defense. I'm running a ace pair flex out of the Steelers playbook. I'm using that as my offense, and then my defense I'm tweaking a little bit. I'm kind of going into, you're gonna see me go in and out of dime, nickel, and 4-3 under. I'm working on some different concepts from dime that I'm kind of interested to explore in this game that kind of builds off of the nickel blitz. So if you guys, I'm sure everybody by now, if you guys don't have a good defense, I would highly recommend just Google searching nickel blitz, and you'll be able to figure it out pretty quickly. In my opinion, it is the best base defense in the game. You saw it at the Madden Classic, the Madden Championship, the Madden Bowl, whatever you want to call it. You saw this play, just destroy some of the greatest Madden players in the game. So I definitely recommend using the nickel blitz. In my opinion, you really can't go wrong. What I also want to do today is talk a little bit more philosophically going forward, and how can you prepare for Madden 18. So what you want to do when we talk about preparing for future Maddens, preparing for next season, is you want to get back to the basics. I talk about this every year. It's all about the basics of the game. The game never really changes, and that's why the best players are pretty much standard. Like, we're gonna see Skimbo in the mix for one of the better players in the game next season, just like he ended up being the #1 player this season. Same thing with Problems, same thing with Los. All those guys, they're always going to be good, and there's a big reason why. The big reason why they're always going to be good is because they understand the basic mechanics of football, the basic mechanics of the way the game works. So right there, I get stopped right there. That's pretty much bad by me. I should have totally just passed the ball, but I've been running the ball and really trying to test the running game. And in the process of doing that, what I'm finding is I get a little bit greedy from time to time. So, but anyway, here. So we're going to start in nickel blitz 2, but we're not going to stay in it the whole game. We're going to move around a little bit here. Looks like this guy's coming out in the same thing. I totally screwed up there. I accidentally blitzed put everybody in coverage, so you got an easy touchdown. A little rusty here, but anyways, going back to what I was saying. So one of the things that you want to do, and I think this is just so important, is you want to figure out what is your style. Okay, what works best for you? Are you a running first guy? Are you a passing first guy? Are you, and what I mean by that is, can you diagnose the defense better pre-snap or post-snap? If you're a better pre-snap player, then I'm probably going to suggest that you look more at a run-based offense, because it's all about the pre-snap read. If you're a post-snap player, then I would highly recommend you looking into a passing offense, because that's pretty much what a passing offense is. Now, this is probably the most important point that I'm going to make the entire video, so be sure and pay attention here. You want to develop your power, your counter, all those things, and you want to start to trying to get yourself to understand basic different mechanics, basic concepts. So what is your go-to concept? Mine this season was levels. It was a levels passing concept. The play action post from the shotgun bunch was my bread and butter, and I ran it and ran it and ran it and ran it, and then off of that I used a high-low read from Z Spot. Okay, so those were my two main concepts, and with it mixed verticals. What you'll come to find is that every single season you pretty much see the same thing. It's just nobody can step back and kind of see it. What you see every year, okay, is you see some form in a Madden play. You're going to see some form of quick pass. You're going to have some form of user catch, and you're going to have some form of something that's going to help you beat man-to-man. Outside of that, everything's kind of, but you can pretty much guess what the first 3 to 5 routes are going to be on a given play. And the reason I'm saying that is because I want you to start developing those concepts now, so that once the Madden 18 comes out, then all you have to do is find the playbook you want to use, learn that playbook in and out, and stick with it for the remainder of the season. Okay, so that kind of takes care of that. It's also the same on the defensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball is actually, in my opinion, it's more difficult, but it's simpler. So offense is more complex, but it's probably easier. Defense is more simple, but it's probably harder. And the reason I use the terminology is because when you guys watch the Madden, when you watch the tournament, you probably just saw a lot of nickel blitz or a lot of DB fire to press, or things that you have seen all season long. Like this guy's running basically nickel blitz from the nickel A gap formation. So you probably saw that. But what I'm trying to get at here is the game itself is actually harder, because defense is all about adjustments. I was a big fan of a guy a couple years ago who, his name was Warhawk, and this was Madden 13, and he was probably the best player in Madden 13, aside from obviously Problem, who won the tournament. And Problem and Warhawk actually played. You can look it up on YouTube. You can find the game. They have it. It's again Madden 13 Virgin Gaming Challenge. Look up Problem versus Warhawk, and you can find that game. And what you'll find is, the more you watch that game, what you're gonna see is Warhawk really only ran 1, maybe 2 plays on offense, and on defense he only ran 1, maybe 2 plays. But what you might not have noticed is the adjustments. And in the interview with Warhawk that I heard one time, he said defense is all about adjustments. And what he meant by that is it's all about trying to figure out and tinker and experiment and trying to figure out how are you going to stop what they're doing. And I play very similar to that. I play a little bit different just because that's just kind of how I work. The way that I kind of see it is it's about play calling, okay? But it's still kind of the same concept. And what I do is I try to play a little bit more of a chess match, try to give you different things, and try to force you into taking what I want you to take. So, and I try to basically set a trap for you with different types of adjustments, different reads, try to give you, and that's why I say it's all about power and counter, because if you can develop your power and counter, what you're going to find is what happens as the game goes on is you're going to force them to have to throw a certain route at a certain time, and if they don't throw that route, it's going to be an interception. Okay, and that's what I've found to be just the best way I play. But again, you want to figure that out for yourself. I can't play the game for you. So that's just one of the big points, and there's probably something I said there that maybe didn't quite make sense. So if you have a question or maybe need some clarification, be sure to leave a comment. Because I know I kind of rambled on a little bit, but I think there's something in there that's definitely useful to you guys, because again, this game is very difficult, but it's very simple. And the reason I say it like that is because simple is not easy. Simple is actually what you'll find one of the hardest things. It's easy to be complex. It's easy to run 45,000 formations and do 45,000 different things. But what you'll find is they're actually kind of the same thing at a conceptual level, and when they're the same thing at a conceptual level, it limits your playbook because you don't have what I call tendencies. You don't have things to go on. Okay, so that was a pretty bad play call right there by me. I don't know what I'm thinking. Once I get to talking, I kind of stop focusing on the game. But yeah. So to recap that, what I want to get through to you guys right now, I want you to go into Madden. I want you to pick whatever playbook you want. It really doesn't matter to me. And I want you to develop concepts for yourself. Figure out what route combinations work. So you could use a flat, a corner, and a streak. You could, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I wanted to get you guys to go. Let's see what we can do here on defense. He's running the same offense pretty much that I'm running, so this will be interesting. I noticed a lot of people had success. The reason I kind of wanted to get back into this is because I noticed a lot of people had pretty good success running the halfback dive out of, trying to think what the formation was. It was out of a single, it was just some single back. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but it was really interesting. This guy's probably running Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is the best playbook in the game. It pretty much has everything that you need. The only thing it doesn't have, the only negative to it, is it doesn't have corner strike from shotgun bunch, but it has a play very similar to it in combination with a ton of other plays that most playbooks don't have, at least altogether. So in my opinion, you know, this is definitely the best shotgun bunch that you'll be able to find. Can't quite get my depth chart. There it is. Nice. Barry Church, man. So right there, I know I kind of stopped talking for a little bit. The nickel blitz setup, and I'm going to share a video. I'm going to post a video later on today showing you in slow motion how to set the nickel blitz up. In my opinion, the best way to do it. It's actually better, in my opinion, if you don't blitz 5 people. It's actually better, in my opinion, if you only blitz 2, which is great because it gives you better coverage. However, if you'd call, there's certain variances that I'm going to go into in the video, and you're going to have to see. There's a nickel blitz version for the run, and there's a nickel blitz version for the pass. So there's 2 versions of the play because of some of the rules in the game that you have to kind of follow. But yeah, the reason I've been running nickel blitz is because I realized I was pretty much doing nickel blitz from the 4-3 under, and I'll show you that. And I actually do go into 4-3 under, you know, every now and then. The main reason I stopped doing it was because I just realized my lineup for my salary cap lineup, it was much more effective to just run straight nickel blitz because I could set it up in such a way where it would be a little bit cheaper. It'll be a little bit cheaper for my salary cap team. So, you know, I mean, the 4-3 under is probably better. It's a better defense in my opinion because you can do more from it. But again, the idea of, go back to what I kind of said in the beginning, it's not about being able to do a billion different things. It's about being able to do 1 or 2 things better than everybody else. And so I've set this whole entire team up basically to dominate from a nickel blitz perspective because so for example, and that's one other thing that I would say that is very important going forward as you kind of prepare for Madden 18. What you want to try to figure out is, why is it that Randy Moss is always one of the best players in Madden? Why is it that this back is always good? You got to figure out those key ratings, key attributes. What you'll come to figure out, what actually I've been trying to kind of come to figure out too, is that Madden is a video game, okay? And we all know that. What I don't think some of us understand is what that kind of means. What it really comes down to is, and this is kind of a theory that I'm going to work out over the next couple weeks, is it's a lot about animations. A lot of this game, a lot of your success in this game will hinge on, can you get animations, okay? If you can get the animations, you're going to be effective. If you can't, you know, and so the reason I say that is because I've now started to value spectacular catch receivers more so. I used to be catching traffic all the way, no matter what. I've actually kind of turned into more of a spectacular catch guy because what I'm finding is the effectiveness of user catching and all of that stuff. You can't really do that. There we go. You can't really do that with like a Tim Brown. I had a Tim Brown on my team. He was a very good player, but he couldn't make the next level plays that this Randy Moss that I now have on my team can make, like in his sleep. I have Randy Moss and John Ross, and the reason I have John Ross is pretty simple. I want to throw deep bombs. So what I'll sometimes do here, and I'll show you it right here, actually, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to this 4 verticals play, and because John Ross has 98 speed, you know, this play becomes actually pretty good. And you saw, I kind of picked that up from Skimbo in the Madden Challenge. If you guys were watching, or the Madden Challenge, I always call it the Madden Challenge, whatever it was called. I think it's called the Madden Classic. No, the Madden Championship, that's what it was called. But I noticed one thing when I was watching that game, and actually when I've been watching competitive Madden for a little while, what I continue to find out is that every year it's really the same thing. It just takes us some time to work it out, and it becomes the same game over and over again. So what I would rather start doing is start at the end. And so again, that's why I'm saying, so for example, on defense attributes, the one attribute that I now value for my secondary is not necessarily zone coverage, it's not necessarily man coverage. What I'm now valuing over anything is if they have the trait hot hands. And so if they have this trait hot hands, what it allows them to do is it gives them a better likelihood of catching interceptions. And I have seriously noticed my interception ratio to like drop ratio go way up, like using this trait. And it's actually, I think my defense has been as good as it's ever been right now. And it's not because I'm running some special play, it's because I'm putting players in position to make plays. One thing that I will always remember, that one of the things that Bill Belichick, who's in my opinion the best football coach that's ever coached, one of the things that he said that has really stuck with me is that players make plays. Okay, and the reason that it's so important for you to understand that is because it is a lot about making the play, making the right play at the right time. That is what's going to take you far in this game. And again, it's very easy though to get caught up in my scheme, and I'm telling you, it is, you need a scheme, but what you need, what your scheme should do, and I think what Belichick was trying to say is what our scheme should do is it should glorify our players. Okay, so there you see pretty poor execution at the end of half, but that's what I'm trying to go for. Okay, so I'm trying to kind of combine the two a little bit more. In the past, I was scheme. And another thing that's interesting to me is a quote from someone. I was watching some kind of sporting event. I think it was one of the games in the NBA playoffs. And he said, necessity breeds innovation. Out of necessity comes innovation. So that concept has really stuck with me as well. Some of the best concepts that we'll find actually comes out of necessity, but they can stick with us longer if we let them. Okay, so that's become something that's really been valuable to me from a schematics standpoint. So I wanted to try something with this dime here, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. We'll see. It probably actually, yeah, there's a sack. Wanted to try something with this dime. I actually was kind of tinkering around and thinking it might actually work pretty good, very similarly to the way the nickel blitz works. Only problem is my team's not actually kind of set up to do that. But it's the same concept. I just kind of want to test it. Because basically the concept, and this is what I'm trying to kind of get at, what you see over and over again, and it comes in some type of way. It's not always the same play, but you see basically a 3-man pressure, okay? 3-man pressure, and you want to be able to use her kind of the middle of the field, and that's pretty much it. And that's what you see from defense for the majority of Madden seasons, at least that I've been a part of. That's pretty much what you see. Okay, so in Madden 12, it was the nickel normal or the 46 normal. Those packages was the defense. In this game, It is, you know, it's nickel normal, nickel blitz 2. What I do out of it, which I don't know if it's the same or different, I man the defensive lineman up, which you'll find in this year's game actually helps your pressure. But I man the defensive lineman up, and you're seeing Deone Bucannon make quite a few plays here. The reason Deone Bucannon is making so many plays is because he has the best jump rating, one of the better jump ratings. He's also got that hot hands attribute. So, you know, that's kind of what I'm saying. You do need to know what to look for in your ratings. And with Madden being a lot about animations and not a lot about actual ratings, I just think that's kind of what you want. So that's kind of how I've been looking at the game. I've actually thought about going to a gunslinger quarterback. The quarterback is the one position, I think, where there's not a whole lot of animations. It's more about that's why Derrick Henry was so good. So before I'm testing out this Leonard Fournette running back, is a 40 cap, so I'm trying to see if I can get away with him in a run-oriented offense. But I was using Derrick Henry, the most feared Derrick Henry version, and he was perfect for me. I mean, he did everything I wanted him to do. He also the battle ready attribute. But the key to Derrick Henry was just he got some sick animations, dude. And that's kind of what I'm saying. You want to look for the players who get the best animations. And that comes from a variety of different reasons. A lot of times it comes from their badges, or their, like, not badges, but whatever, their traits. I don't know how to say it, but you'll find, in my opinion, that is what you want to look for. So for my offensive line, I'm actually tinkering around. I spent pretty heavy on my offensive line to kind of see if I would notice a difference, and I went with everybody who was the best run block. So everyone has like 95, 94 run block on my team, and what I'm finding is it's not making that big of a difference. You know, and there's been tests and things and different things like that have shown. So what I'm going to try next is a line that's kind of set up through the impact blocking and see how that goes for the success of the line. I'm also finding my safeties, you don't necessarily need super fast safeties. What you need is the hot hands trait, and then if you can get zone coverage, that's a plus. Okay, so those are just some of the things that I'm finding, but just wanted to share this stuff with you, get a quick video out, and kind of share some of the things I've been going through from a schematic standpoint. So I hope this video was helpful, and let me know if you guys have any questions.